Hi, and welcome to the video for Unit 13 of Book 3 in the Interchange series. Today we're going to be talking about past modals of certainty. Okay, now before we talk about the past modals of certainty, let's take a look at the present modals of certainty. So here we have a teacher, right? And he's teaching about the modals of certainty, okay? So we've got must, could, and may or might. And may and might are the same thing. We use them in the same way in this context when we're talking about certainty. Certainty means how positive we are about what we're saying, okay? So everything's good. He's teaching the lesson, okay? We've got our students. We've got Emily, we've got Eric, and we've got John. Wait, no, we don't. We don't have John. So Eric's thinking, where is John? So he says to Emily, hey, Emily, where's John? And Emily is going to make some guesses, right? She's going to speculate about where John is. Now, for Emily to make her guesses, she's going to use the modals of certainty that she learned in class. So, when she's thinking about possibilities for where John is, she's thinking, definitely I think that he is sick, right? Looks like he's sick over here. She's thinking definitely that's what's happening. So she's going to use her modal must to say that she's very positive about what she thinks. She says, well, he must be sick, right? She's very positive about that. She's almost 100% sure about what she's saying. Or she can use the negative, and she can say, well, he must not feel well, okay? So we're using must, and we're using must not to indicate that we are almost 100% sure that what we're saying is true. So it's for when we're thinking things that we're definitely sure about. Okay, she could also think, well, look, possibly, looks like he's traveling, he's on vacation, right? He's going somewhere. So she's thinking possibly that's what's happening, okay? For possibly, we're going to use our modals of could. So she says, well, he could be on vacation. That's possible. Or he couldn't be here. That's impossible that he's here. So again, when I use could and when I use couldn't, those are my modals for when I think about something as possible. That what I'm saying is possible. Okay? Now, let's look at the third situation. Here John is, and it looks like he's running. He's looking at his watch, right? So she's thinking maybe this is what's happening. When we think maybe, we're using our modals might and may. So she's thinking, well, he might be late. Or, in the negative, he may not be on time. Again, when I use might or may, and this condition may not, okay, it's for when I'm thinking that maybe this is what happens. It's not 100% sure. It's more of a doubt. I'm not positive about what I'm saying. So I use might and I use may. Good. Okay, so let's take a look at our past modals. Just a quick review of what a past modal is. Now, from the previous units, we saw that a past modal is a modal plus have is my auxiliary and past participle. The past participle is things like gone, seen, walked, talked, taken, given. Those are past participles. So remember, we're always using the past participle of the verb. Okay, so we've seen some previous past modals. For example, should have. Now, should have I use a lot with suggestions and regrets. As an example, I could say, I should have gone to the party, right? I can use could have if I'm thinking about possibilities of something, and I could say, I could have gone to the party as a past possibility, right? And I can say would have when I'm talking about intentions or hypotheticals. So for example, I would have gone to the party, right? Always using a modal, always using our auxiliary verb have, and always using our past participle, in this case, gone, right? So that's what makes a past modal. Good. So now that we reviewed what modals of certainty are and we reviewed what past modals are, let's combine them to look at our past modals of certainty. Okay, our past modals of certainty, we use why? Well, we primarily use them to describe speculation for why something happened. So notice we're talking about speculation for something that happened in the past. Why did something happen in the past? So let's take a look at this situation over here. Okay, here we have a guy. Looks like he's at work, right? Looks like he has someone not very happy with him. He's getting kicked out of his office, right? So what happened to him? He got fired from his job, right? He lost his job. He was fired. His boss said, "You no longer can work here. Go home. I don't ever want to see you again," right? Okay, so the natural question is like, well, why? Why did he get fired? Why did he get fired? I wonder why he got fired, right? Now, to answer that question, we're going to use our past modals of certainty to talk about why we think he got fired. Speculation for why he got fired. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this first situation here for definitely. So it looks like he's coming to work. His boss is looking at his watch. He doesn't look very happy. I'm thinking, okay, why did he get fired? Well, he definitely was late for work a lot, or something like that, right? Now, remember, what is my modal of certainty for definitely? You guys remember? Right, it's must. Now, I'm using it in the past tense, so I'm going to use my modal must. Now, if I want to be negative, I can say not, but I'm always using have as my auxiliary and my past participle, right? So if I want to say what happened in this situation, but in the past tense with my modal of certainty, I'm going to say something like this. Well, he must have come late too often. Okay? So there's my past modal of certainty. And I'm almost positive that that's what happened. So I'm using my modal must. If I want to say negatively, I could say, well, he must not have been very punctual. Again, my modal must have past participle. In this context, must not have past participle. So that's my past participle for why I'm being positive about what I'm saying for why something happened in the past. Let's look at this situation down here, okay, for possibly. So it looks like he's sleeping at his job, so I'm thinking that's why he was fired. This is why he got fired. But it's saying, I'm not positive, but I'm just saying this is possible. What are my modals for possible? That's right. I use could, right? Could. Now the past modal with have plus the past participle. Again, I can use not if I want to be negative. So let's look at an example. Why was he fired? He could have slept at work too much, right? Or I think, why was he fired? Well, he couldn't have been working very hard, right? So I'm using my modal, could, have, past modal, plus the past participle, or in the negative, couldn't, have for the past modal, and the past participle to talk about the possibility for why he got fired, right? The possibility. Let's look at our third situation down here, okay? For maybe. Now, maybe it looks like he is yelling at the boss. That's not a good idea. His boss looks a little bit scared, right? That's not very respectful if that's your boss. So I'm thinking maybe. Maybe this is what happened. Maybe this is why he got fired. Remember our modal for maybe? Right, we have two. Might and may. So the past modal, we have might, may, have makes the past modal and the past participle for our verb. Now, he yelled at his boss. Maybe that's what happened. So using my modal, I can say, well, he might have yelled at the boss. If I want to be negative, I can say this. He may not have been very respectful. Okay. Again, I'm always using my modal. In this case, might or may not, or might not and may, plus my past participle, plus my auxiliary, the auxiliary have, plus the past participle yelled or been, right? Good. Now, all of these are talking about how positive I am for what I'm saying. Maybe down here, right, is like, not 100% sure, right? But I think that's possible, that's what happened. Here it's possibly this is what happened, right? I'm not saying how sure I am, just saying that it's possible that that happened. And definitely is like, I'm almost 100% sure this is what happened, okay? So, those are our past modals of certainty to describe speculation for why something happened. So, just to review and to put it all together, we just looked at the past modals of certainty. Past modals of certainty are used to talk about speculation about the past. Remember, it's about the past. That's why it's a past modal. So, if I'm definitely sure about what I'm saying, I use must as my modal, always using have and the past participle to make the past modal. If it's possible, I always use could plus have plus the past participle, and not if I want to say it's not possible. If I'm thinking maybe, I'm not sure about it, I'm going to use my modals might or may plus have plus the past participle, right? So those are my past modals of certainty to talk about speculation about the past. All right, good luck, guys.